All right, welcome everybody to the 18th annual dual credit night. We haven't done this 18 years, I was lying. I'm Josh from CSI. We're gonna live stream this, so shout out to everybody online. Hey. So tonight is really about y'all getting the questions that you have answered. This is kind of a big deal. And it's, you know, we're 4 or 5 years into this now, and it's growing so rapidly that we just have to have these parent nights so we can get everybody on the same page. Make sure that any questions that come up while we're registering, because 9th graders register in a couple weeks, and they kind of start to think about it at least, and so that's the time where you start to pick classes. So if you have any questions, I would just ask them as soon as it pops in your head, because if you wait till the end, you might not get it answered, okay? So I'm gonna go over a few things. Like I said, I'm Josh from CSI. So the associates program at Rigby is going through CSI at this point, College of Southern Idaho out of Twin Falls, okay? That's mostly because there is a ton of CSI dual credit classes here in person at Rigby. Okay, so that on the sheet that you have, you're going to see a lot of CSI classes. But we're going to talk about where all these credits are coming from and how to actually make the associate's degree work, and that's important, okay? So let's we're not going to dive super deep into like the mythology or the behind the scenes, like what is dual credit, right? But I want you to know exactly kind of what it is that you're getting into here, right? At the base of it, we know that dual credit is college credit taught in a high school setting, right? That's kind of the basic part of it, right? But there's tons of other forms of dual credit that your students are going to run into, right? Different modes of learning, right? So you can do it here at Rigby in person with an instructor that's been hired by CSI to teach them. That's one way. Second way, you can do it through IDLA, so Idaho Digital Learning Academy, right? The largest state of Idaho high school is IDLA. So it's completely online. You can do dual credit through IDLA, right, here at Rigby, right? You can also do it straight through a college or university, right? So you're bypassing the middleman as IDLA and you're going straight to, like, let's say CSI. When I say straight, you're not driving. You're taking it online. You don't want to be commuting, okay? So that's how you're taking it. So you're logging on to CSI system, you're logging on to CWI system, BSU system, whatever, and you're taking it straight through the college for the dual credit price, okay? Those are probably the most sought after ways because you don't have to leave Rigby. Now, you could technically go on campus to maybe BYU Idaho. You could go on campus to CEI down in Idaho Falls, right? And you could take a dual credit there as well. Basically, any college 100 level or above credit is going to go towards this associate's degree, okay? We'll get more into that, right? Here's the main question that I always start basically all these talks out with is, who is eligible to do dual credit? Who's eligible to do this? Technically anybody, right? Technically anybody. Your state of Idaho Advanced Opportunities Monday has been booted up since 7th grade. So that's been sitting up in the state waiting for you to take dual credit. We're going to talk more about the money part here in a second. But technically, anybody is eligible. But the next more important question is who should take this? And that is the difference. Okay? Dual credit as a whole, the associate's program, the academic certificate is going to be for hardworking students, right? That whether they're going to use it sort of as a scholarship, whether they want to get ahead in school because they're going on a mission, whether they just want to try college out because they don't know if they even want to go, right? That's what dual credit and that's what the associate program is for, right? What it is not for, this is not a contest, between student and student, like a rivalry thing that, oh my gosh, my sister took it, so I have to do it. That's not a thing. It's not a competition between parents. Although we sometimes want to make it, this isn't about y'all, parents. Okay, I have to say that up front, because that's important, because in the past, we've seen parents that have been very prideful and like, my student is doing this no matter what, and the student falls apart. And they hate it, and they hate high school. I have to remember, as the representative for CSI and basically your college advisor, that like, I still want you to be a kid. I still want you to have a high school, like, I want you to have high school relationships. I want you to have fun in high school. So if doing the associate program is going to be super detrimental to that, we shouldn't do it. Because sometimes you have to make a choice about this. You have to choose, I'm either going to go on vacation with my family, or shoot, my class starts, maybe I can't go, or maybe I can't do football or something, right? Or I have to pull back on my extracurricular activities because this is going to be kind of hard, right? This is supposed to be challenging. Just so you know, this is college, right? Dual credit is college curriculum. Just because it's taught by a high school teacher doesn't mean anything. It's still our curriculum, okay? Make sense? Cool. Anybody have any questions about dual credit, just as an overview? I just want to make sure we get every question answered, okay? Now, this is sort of how the associates program works here at Rigby. You'll notice on your little sheets that there's tons and tons of dual credit in person here at Rigby, but it's not all through CSI, it's through different providers. And when I say providers, I mean like different colleges, right? So CWI has a lot here, maybe BSU, maybe NNU, maybe ISU, right? So at the basic level of this associate's degree, what you're doing is you're taking dual credits from all of these different colleges, and at the end of your senior year, we're going to smash them into one degree, and you're going to graduate from CSI. And usually you're going to, well, not usually, all the time you're going to graduate from college before you graduate from Rigby. And it's this very weird thing. But it's pretty amazing that you even have this opportunity. And really we should be thanking Rigby's administration and counseling staff, because dude, those guys are putting in a lot of effort to make this possible. And it's becoming very successful. I think the first year it was maybe 7, and now it's 30, and then it could go to 50, right? And so I never want to take that for granted. You go to a pretty great school that all of these are offered at. Okay, so you're taking all these credits from all these different institutions, and then we're gonna smash them into degree, and you're gonna graduate from CSI. It's gonna be 60 credits for an associate's. That's not 60 classes. It's 60 credits. So a typical class is what? 3 credits. Some are 4 credits if it's a Spanish class or a science with a lab. So that's 4 credits. So basically what you're doing is you're going down this checklist, you're making sure all your boxes are checked that you need, you have all your elective credits there, and we graduate you with a 60 credit degree, and you go to college as a junior. Okay? Now, with me just saying that, any parents, did that freak you out a little bit, that you're going to take your 18-year-old student and you're going to throw them into a college setting and they're a junior, they're halfway done, right? Because when you say it out loud, it's a little scary. The thing that I look at is the maturity level there, right? Now, you know the brain power's there because they've done this college curriculum for 2 years, 3 years, they've earned the credits, but is that maturity there to be a junior in college and succeed? That is not for me to decide, that's not for Rigby to decide, that is not for the counseling staff to decide, and frankly, might not even be for the parents to decide. Students, you gotta dig deep and see if you actually want to do this, This is 100% your choice. No matter what your parents say, it is your choice. Parents are like, nope, you're doing it. So, 60 credits gets you an associate's degree. What if you don't want to quite dedicate the time to go all the way to 60? There is another option in the state of Idaho. It's called the academic certificate. Okay? It's 36 credits of just general education requirements. So that is no electives, right? So it's just communications, English, 2 English classes, you got a math class, you got 2 social sciences, 2 humanities, 2 general sciences, a wellness class, and a general education class. Done. Now what does that get you? In the state of Idaho, it works really well when it's transferred to any school, and it gets all of your general education requirements at that school that you transferred it to, they're done. Even if you haven't taken something that they want as a gen ed, it doesn't matter, because you graduated with the academic certificate, you're done. Now, flip it over to the associates. What does that get you? Of course, that gets you a true associate's degree that's transferable outside of the state of Idaho, inside of the state of Idaho, wherever you want to take that thing. It's basically when you graduate with the associates, it's in a nice, neat little box, and it's packaged really well, and the school that you take it to cannot cherry pick the classes out of it, if that makes sense. Right? What do I mean by cherry picking? I mean, oh, we're Utah State, and I hate to pick on them. I don't pick on them. Oh, we see that you took college algebra, but we really want you to take our college algebra, right? If you have an associate's degree, they can't do that. Signed, sealed, delivered, done. Okay? Academic certificate, the 36 credits works really good in the state of Idaho. If you're going to an Ivy League school, you can just plan on those guys being real finicky about their classes that you take for dual credit. So just prepare yourself. Cool?
Even if you have an associate's?
Yeah, well, associates is fine. It's the academic certificate that's tough. Now remember, what if you only get 12 dual credits? You don't get the academic certificate, and you don't get the associate's degree. Do you get nothing? No. You just did an entire semester of college for free through the state of Idaho. Oh no, what have I done? Is it back on? Good. Does that make sense? So you still get something. Those credits are totally transferable anywhere you want to go. Whether they're elective credits, whether they were credits for English 101 or English 102, whatever, right? You still get them. They just can be picked on a little bit more. Make sense? Okay, so if you want an ironclad, I don't want anybody to touch my credits, I want my degree to go over, I want to be a junior when I'm 18 at BSU, then you're doing the full associates program, and you're going to do it with a smile on your face, and you're going to love it. Every day of your life. Make sense? Questions, concerns, problems. Is it going to be hard? Some days. Some days, students, you're going to fall apart. And you're going to be like, dude, I don't know if this is worth it. And then we have a pep talk with the counseling staff that says, dude, you're 4 credits away. Like, what are we doing? Let's do this. I bring that up because that just happened. Oh my gosh, you got 4 credits. You're going to have 56 college credits. Why don't you just do 4 more? Okay, done. You're graduating. Okay. This plan, the purple and the teal, it just takes a lot of good planning and a lot of good advising by myself, by your counseling staff here at Rigby. You got to keep in communication with us, right? I'm here quite a bit, I would say. I got a parking spot, sort of. And I enjoy advising students on their future and their associate's program, so I like to come out here and do this. So it's all about making sure all your ducks are in a row every single year. So sophomore, junior. When you're a senior, you should be really on the downhill slope, right? So sophomore year, you should kind of be ramping it up. Junior year is probably going to be the heavy one. And then what the goal should be is second, third try of senior year, you're finishing up maybe some math and you're coming down and maybe you have a couple of credits online to take, but it's not a big deal, okay? If you don't plan well and if you don't get good advising, you'll start off slow and then your senior year, you're just gonna have to ramp it up and go 12 credits per try and your life's gonna be miserable and you're gonna hate me, you're gonna hate the counseling staff, you're gonna hate CSI, right? Because you're gonna be miserable and you're not gonna be able to be a kid. So don't do that. Make sense? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Yeah.
How much more grueling is this route, like say for your sophomore year, versus just you're not going to take any dual credit classes or you're going to take a few? Is it like a lot more difficult if you've got a student who's doing sports and that sort of thing as well?
I don't think so. So I don't know if the camera can hear. Basically her question is, what's the difference between somebody doing no dual credits in high school and somebody doing dual credits? Like, how's the rigor? Remember, it's college curriculum, so the rigor is going to be there. The state of Idaho says it has to be there, right? The legislature. This is kind of what we found out, though, is just kind of organically, when you go to choose a class in class choice for Rigby, instead of picking regular history, you pick dual credit history, right? So you're gonna be taking a lot of the same classes, it's just your choice to just kind of bump it up a little bit. Just take it to the next level, right? And get that. Would I say, could a full-time athlete that plays 3 sports do the associate program? Absolutely. There's gonna be some nights studying. And there's going to be some, I guess I got to study on the bus home from the game, or, you know what I mean, I got to go to bed early because I got a test tomorrow, right? That kind of stuff. But guess what? You're going to save 2 years of college, not against eligibility, by the way, but you're going to save 2 years of cash in college by doing dual credit. And the more dual credit you do, the more you save. So that's a great question about the rigor. Yeah?
I was just going to respond because I have both experiences.
Yeah.
My older daughter didn't do college credits, and my son is a junior now, and I don't think it's any harder. I don't think there's that much more homework. He had a biology class that was awful, but they've since changed that. So it's not as hard. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, every student's going to be different. The mathy students, they're going to fly through college algebra, but they might not do so well in English. And then you got vice versa. It's literally like regular college, only it's just here at Rigby, right? That's what they would battle in college at Purdue or BYU Idaho. Wow, that was some random picks for colleges that I came up with. I have no idea why those two, but yeah. Make sense? That can't be all the questions, okay? Let's talk about how to pay for this, right? Because that's important. If we're gonna do this, we want it paid for. So every time your student takes a dual credit class, back up. State of Idaho in 7th grade gave all your students $4,125, not directly. We would not do that. That's not your money yet, okay? So basically they have a savings account through the state of Idaho that has $4,000 in it, ready to take dual credit, the AP test, driver's ed, whatever you want to use it for, right? Regular high school IDLA classes. So it's just sitting up there waiting for you to use. So what happens is you sign up for a dual credit, like let's say 3 credits through CSI for English 101. Your student will put themselves, they have a portal that they make an account for the state through, right? So they log into their portal, they claim CSI, 3 credits, I'm requesting funding, it's $225, submit. So basically what that's saying is, hey, I'm down here in Rigby, I want 3 credits of English 101 paid for from you guys, thank you, please. State sees the request, pays CSI, you get the credits on your transcript, voila. Okay, so you have $4,125 to use. We've noticed, if you do the complete associate's degree, you might come up short by like $500. It's like 2 classes. Because at $225 a pop, basically for all the classes, you don't have room to like take the AP test and claim it. You just would have to pay out of pocket for it, and it's not a bad deal. It's still $225, and I think $225 for a college class is a pretty great deal. Has any of the parents, especially the guys, has anybody added up what like a semester at ISU would be for 12 credits, right? It's about what, $3,400, $3,500, and that's how much you're saving. This is a pretty screaming deal. Okay, so state of Idaho pays for it, and by the end, when you're a senior, hopefully you have money left to complete, but if you don't, you just kind of pay for the credits and you go about your business and you graduate and you graduate. Cool? Yeah?
What if you did an F or you withdraw from class?
We're going to talk about that. Don't worry. I wanted to hype them up with good news, so thanks. Okay. Tons of pros to this. Tons of pros. We're going to save a boatload of cash, and we're going to get the confidence to do college, and we're going to graduate, and we're going to, hey, I'm going to go on a mission, but I'm not behind it all. I'm still 2 years. I'm great. Yeah. Okay, what are the cons? Because there has to be something that's not great about this, right? That's just kind of how life is. Cons. If you start this and you don't do well in a class, you're either going to, you're going to pay for it a few ways. You're going to financially pay for it, and you're going to pay for it on your college transcript, right? Just like a regular 22-year-old student at Purdue would do. If they don't do well, they're paying for it, and it's on their college transcript, right? So let's say your student gets an F in Wellness 255. I hope not. If all the ones that you're going to get an F in, don't get an F in that one. Okay? So let's say you get an F in Wellness 255. 2 things happen. Yes, the F goes on your permanent transcript through the college forever. Will not go away. It's on there. Even if you retake the class, your GPA will be replaced. Still see the F. Okay? Second thing that happens is you have a choice. You can either pay the $225 for the F, so you're paying for the class right up front, just whoops, my bad, I got an F, I didn't show up to class, you paid for it. Or you have the state of Idaho pay the $225, but you have to pay for the next class out of pocket, and you have to pass it to get your funding rebooted back up. So they'll literally shut off your funding if you don't do well in these classes. That's fair. So listen to me, students. This is how I kind of explain it. You are a small business, right? And the state of Idaho is investing money into your small business. And if your business is not good, they want their money back. That's fair. That's fair. That's how financial aid in college works. If you get a Pell Grant and you drop out, guess what? You have to pay it back. That's fair. Cool? So don't do bad. Yeah.
So let's say you take college calculus.
Yeah.
Fail it.
Yep.
And then you decide to let the state pay for it and you'll pay for the next one. Do you have to repeat,
No.
repeat calculus, or can you take Gen 255?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Wellness 255.
Pay in that and then you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not gonna pick a more expensive, you're not gonna pick like EMT that's 10 credits and be like, oh, I feel bad, I'm gonna pay for the more expensive one. Yeah, don't do that. Right? Just pay for the 3 credits, Wellness 255. State releases your funding, you're going.
So what is the grade you have to get? Is it just C and above, like in college, or?
Technically, D's get degrees. Listen.
Oh gosh.
Listen, okay. State of Idaho says they're not going to pay for, an F or a W. So a W means that you went past the drop deadline and then you had to withdraw from the CSI class, the BSU class, right? So something happened and you're not doing well, and instead of it being on your transcript as an F, you're just gonna withdraw and get a W, okay? By the way, students, you always want a W over an F on your college transcript. So just keep that in your brain. Because for financial aid purposes, when you get to college, an F affects you two ways. It affects your GPA and it affects your completion rate, where a withdraw only affects your completion rate, okay? So, great question. I don't love D's, and if you start to rack up those D's, yes, you're probably passing the classes, but somebody's gonna put you on academic warning for having a low GPA in college. Because guess what? That's what college kids would get too. Yeah.
If you end up with a W or an F and you retake the exact same class and pass it with an A or a B, does that wipe out?
It wipes it out for the GPA, but you still visually see it on the transcript. So it's not like it's like they erase it and put in,
It brings your GPA back.
but it brings your GPA up. So it replaces the GPA. Yeah.
How does attendance affect their grades? Are they still kind of on like the school attendance, or can they, how does that work?
Yeah, so for attendance is a great question, right? This is the way I like to put it. If your student was in college at, let's say, ISU, and they're in a 16-week semester, and they miss 8 of those weeks, they're probably not going to pass the class, right? Attendance is pretty important. Now, CSI does not require attendance in our classes, and I don't think CWI does, I don't think BSU does, but Rigby might. So if Rigby wants your student's butt in the seat, then your student's butt needs to be in the seat, right? Now, if it's getting ridiculous, and your student is missing every other day because they're off gallivanting and doing whatever. Now, if you're sitting in this room, I don't believe you have a student that's gonna do that, right? But if that's the case, then the teacher has every right to come to your student and say, hey, look, listen, you need to drop the class for college credit. You can still be in the high school side, but you shouldn't be doing this for college credit because I don't believe this is right for you. Make sense?
So are you saying like an in-person teacher?
In-person teacher.
Take that class and it also takes the place of the high school class?
Yeah, so how the high school portion works is when you take a dual credit, let's say dual credit class is 3 credits, Rigby gives you 1.5 credits for high school. Did I just lie to them? God, I got the good thumbs up. Good job. Good job, Josh. Yeah. Make sense? So you take a 3 credit English class, right? And it's college credit, so you'll get 3 college credits. But because you want to kind of double dip, you want to take classes that also go for high school credit too. But the high school credit will only be 1.5. So it's only half of what the college total would be.
So where do they make that other half of that?
I think
Usually if you're on an associate's path, you'll make up that other half credit with other college credits. Because that happens a lot. If it's a 3 credit class, we always issue it as a 1.5 credit.
Does that help if they're in AP high school classes?
AP is just standard credit for credit.
Yeah, because AP, remember, AP is a test at the very end. It's one test, all your eggs in that basket, and if you don't do well, you don't get nothing. I'm not against AP at all. It's just a different type of credit. Questions? Yeah. Oh, excuse me, ma'am.
What happens when you fail a class and then the next try you have 2 dual credit classes? Do you have to pay for all of them?
Yes, you got to pay for both. So we go back to, we fail a class, we have the state pay for the F, so they're going to shut your funds off right there, right? Boom. And then, so let's say you sign up for 2 more dual credit classes. Guess what? You're paying for both of them. So the smart thing financially would be always pay for the F. Right when you get it, or the W, right when you get the W, pay for that. Don't wait for the state to slap you on the hand. You don't want to do that, okay? Because if you pay for it, then there's no block on your account and you can just take as many dual credits as you want for the rest of the way out. Make sense? Yeah.
So how long do you have to withdraw before you get either a W?
Usually it's within 60% of the class, right? So every class has a completely different withdrawal date. Usually what happens is the instructor, if it's one of my classes, one of my CSI classes here, the instructor of the class calls me and says, hey, when's the withdrawal date for my class? April 1st. Okay, got it, thanks. And so they'll tell the student April 1st, right? Yeah.
If I've got a student in Spanish immersion, seminary, how is this going to look with their schedule? Are they going to have to take some of these online?
I would think, I mean, because some of the Spanish immersion stuff, if it's dual credit, you know, obviously we can use like Spanish 101. If they take all the Spanishes, some of those Spanishes will kind of filter over to electives, which they're going to need. They're going to need at least maybe 22 to 24 electives, right? I think if you take seminary, yeah, you might have to be catching up with an online class, or another great way to catch up is take a summer class. You still get the dual credit rate of $75 per credit, only you're just taking it straight through the college that you want to, and you gotta sometimes do it on vacation, which is not fun.
Sorry, just an answer to her question. You do seminary early morning, or you do independent study. Be in the classroom for the classes. I would say seminary, either do early or independent.
There you go. Sweet. What else? Yeah.
How does the Chinese immersion go into these credits? Do they work? I know you have the Spanish and stuff on
Yep.
it, but not anything with the Chinese.
So if those Chinese immersion credits, I think they're going through BSU. Don't quote me. BSU? BSU.
We have the final for that. It'll just roll into the elective.
Yeah.
Or will they won't count as humanities.
Well, they won't count as humanities because CSI doesn't have Chinese.
They won't accept it from us.
I mean, we probably can ask. We can ask. But I haven't really run into anybody yet that's taking Chinese immersion for humanities credit yet. So that would be a new one. But worst case scenario, that goes towards electives, and we keep going. Is there a question? Yes.
Whose responsibility is it to make sure the kid gets registered for the class?
Oh, come on now. You're just doing me dirty. Okay. Listen, everything with this associate's program is technically the student's problem. Everything. From registering to getting the class paid for, doing the homework, getting advising, every component comes down to the student, period. Now, we are kind of fail-safe experts, right? If you get a certain point and you can't register, that's when we come in. Or, hey Josh, I need another 3-credit class. What do I need to take? That's my kind of stuff. It should be always the student's responsibility to do this because it'll be the student's responsibility in college. Like actual on campus at Purdue, right? That will be their responsibility. So you should treat this as your responsibility. Was that good? Good, 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 thumbs up, okay. Yeah,
If they go into the dual credit program, do you guys, I just heard a little bit about the counselor. Do they have to have the counselor like sign off to make sure they're not overloaded? I mean, I went to U of I had to have my counselor's approval every semester
Yeah.
to take my classes.
yeah. I would say, safely I can say, we probably looked over the associate degree kiddos this year probably 30 times to make sure that they had every component that they needed to graduate. Now, in terms of being overloaded, that's the gentleman next to you's, that's his voice. You guys are together? Okay. Right?
I was an older student at U of
Yeah.
I, and I mean, I had one semester, and my advisor was like, I am not signing off, I can't sign up on this, you're gonna kill yourself
Yeah.
taking physical chemistry and quantitative analysis and biochem and an advanced micro class.
Jeez.
Along with,
Yeah,
I took water aerobics.
I gotta be honest, I don't even know half the words you just
And
said.
he was like, I'm not gonna sign off on this
Yeah.
because you're taking too much. You're
Yeah.
taking too.
I mean,
So, I mean, do you guys look at it and be like, you know,
Yes.
this is looking just, this is, these are
very much so.
classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we go back to what I very first thought. Like, I still want you to participate in Rigby. I still want you to go to games. Like, at the point that this gets ridiculous and a nice hot button nowadays is mental health. The second that starts to take over your life and you're like, I am too frustrated and too anxious about this, then we pull back. Maybe we pull back as much to just do the academic certificate and not the associates. I've had to make that decision a few times. I've also had to make decisions of, I want to graduate as a junior in high school with my associates. And that created some anxiety, and I said, let's don't do that. Let's push it back. And she's like, I like where your head's at. I can go in my senior year and we'll be fine.
I just want, like, so you guys,
Absolutely.
you look at it and,
Yep.
let's see if we can move
Yeah.
the physics to second try instead of first try.
Sometimes we save you from yourself. Typical associate's degree course tracks. Yeah, it's all on the bottom purple sheet, maybe on the back.
I saw this,
Yeah.
you know,
Right? Technically, like when you're in college, like let's say you came to CSI in Twin, freshman, hadn't taken any dual credits. CSI wants you to take 15 credits per semester. For four semesters, you're graduating with 60 credits. Have a nice day, 2 years, you just crushed it, saved a bunch of cash, right? You guys are starting, you have an extra year to do this, basically. So the pressure should not be on. But like I said, you're going to ramp up when you're a junior, and then when you're a senior, you're kind of coming down. Yeah.
So he's in music, like orchestra. Does
Yeah.
that count for an elective? Can it count for an elective?
Well, he'll probably end up doing so. Orchestra is not going to be dual credit, but Music 108 will be dual credit. Maybe he wants to take extra music classes online, straight through IDLA, straight through CSI. He could do that. But specifically orchestra, like extracurricular activities, won't be dual credit because those aren't through the college. Make sense? Yeah.
How, I guess when they sign up for a lot of these classes and stuff, are they guaranteed to get into them, or
Yeah.
do they fill up quick, or how does that work exactly?
Well, the ones on the sheet, all of these are taught in person here at Rigby. So of course they're going to get into the class, because if they sign up through class choice on Rigby through Rigby's system, then of course they have enough seats. Right? So then I just come into the classroom, hey, today we're signing up for college credit, I help you all sign up, and it's, right? So Rigby tells Josh how many students are going to be in that class. So I always have enough seats for your students in these. Now, what if you take an online class straight through CSI? That's subject to the Twin Falls campus. So if it says 30 seats are available and you're number 32, you better pick a different class, right? Unless you really beg Josh, and possibly he could get you in there. Yeah,
So who can help us with our schedule? Is it the high school counselor?
all of us. So I will be at registration in the summer-ish, right before school starts. Is that 2 weeks before school starts? Week? Something like that. So basically what happens is you get your class schedule through your counseling staff. I double check it, make sure that you're on track. If I see anything weird, or I see any holes, or I'm like, hey, you got 3 free periods, why don't you take an online class straight through CSI? Oh, that's a great idea, that kind of stuff. They're gonna keep you on track, and I'm gonna make sure that you don't fall through the cracks. Kind of make sense? So here in 2 weeks, February, they start to do class choice, right?
Ninth grade actually is next Thursday.
Next Thursday. So you got a little bit of time to think about it, right? Did you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how to get with the counselors, like just after school or
Yeah, no, just,
and then are they in the counselor's office?
yep, they're going to be in the counseling office, usually in their office. And you just kind of you don't really make an appointment. You walk in and,
You walk in, fill out a note, see if the counselor's
Yeah.
available. If not, they call you down when they are.
and here's the great part is, I didn't make this clear, is yes, I work for CSI in Twin Falls, but I actually live in Idaho Falls, so I'm here a lot. So what happens is I might get a call from somebody that says, hey, I don't know how to get them in this class, or why can't I see this class? We need another one, and that's when I rush up here and we make it happen. Okay? What else? Yeah?
Say they can start in 10th grade, can they take a summer class
Yep.
before 10th grade?
Yeah? Yep. Now be wise. Be wise. I wouldn't be taking something super heavy, like I never suggest a 10th grader should take Philosophy 101, because there's so many things wrong with that. Okay? So just be wise, right? You also need to know, parents, that if your student takes a class directly through a college, there could not be a filter on that class. CSI does not know that your kid is 16, 17 years old. To them, they're Andrew something, whatever last name you want to come up with, right? And they're in my class, and they have to read the same book as everybody else that's in my class, right? So just be prepared for that kind of stuff, okay? Let's go there. Yeah.
I've heard this kind of through the grapevine. I see that you have an Associates of Science and an Associates of Arts.
Yeah.
Is there going to be an Associates of Education possibly this fall?
Yes. I can say that.
What did she say?
She was asking about Associates of Arts versus Associates of Science, and then maybe an Associates in Education. So here's the deal. 99% of the students that go and do an associate's degree program in high school get an associate's degree in arts, and it's usually liberal arts. Don't let that L word freak you out. It has nothing to do with political alliance, okay, right? So here's the deal. Once you start to get really specific with your associates, like education or criminal justice or something like that, just realize you might be taking more online classes that are on this sheet, right? Because obviously, like Rigby doesn't offer any criminal justice classes, but CSI does, right? So if you want something specific, you're kind of going off script a little bit, and we just got to be a little bit more aware of what your plan is. Does that make sense? So now the good part about Rigby is you guys have grown this program so much that we are going to offer an Associates of Education, because y'all have an instructor that can teach CSI's education curriculum, right? So that's kind of a neat thing. So instead of just getting a liberal arts degree, you actually get an Associates in Education. So if you're going to be a teacher, that's a great place to start. Now, could you get something else besides liberal arts? Absolutely. You just realize it has to be all online, because I don't think you want to commute up to CSI, right? So you can, I had one, bless her heart, she was like, I'm going to do the vet tech program when I'm in high school. And I'm like, no, you're not, because you don't have live animals at your house that you can poke and prod legally, right? But I have a girl here at Rigby that's going to do criminal justice, right? So she is taking all the gen ed stuff, but then she's taking our criminal justice classes online, straight through CSI, state's paying for them, and that's what her degree is going to be in. Her 2-year associate's going to be in criminal justice, not just liberal arts, okay? Yeah?
Those online classes that aren't offered in Rigby, do they still count towards Rigby High School?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Yep. This is good. Yeah?
So if CSI doesn't offer a class that I'm trying to figure out a situation here, can the kids take classes from CWI or
Absolutely.
PEI
Yeah.
and then transfer everything to CSI for graduation?
Yep. Yep. We talked about that. I think you came in just to go like, that was the first thing we talked about is we're taking it from all these different entities, we're going to smash it into a CSI degree, and you're going to graduate from us and you're going to look dang good at it. Scanning. Yeah.
I'm just confused. What are they signing up for next week versus summer?
So next week is Rigby High School class choice, right? Where 9th graders get to like look at what the classes are here at Rigby to start signing up for, right? Yeah, in person, yep. So, with that said, right, you have a choice. So here's a really great example. Your sophomores are gonna have a choice to take health. So are they gonna take the regular health, or are they gonna take Wellness 255? Same classroom, same instructor, but you've made the choice to do a little bit extra work and do the Wellness 255 option because it's dual credit. Make sense? That is a great representation of how this is gonna work. Yeah?
Before they do class choice, do they bring home like a catalog or something we can look over?
Is the catalog online? Is it? Yeah. Catalog is online at rigby.com. I actually don't know. What is it? rigbytrojans.org. Do not go to rigby.com. People online. Yeah. Questions? Keep coming. How much time we got? You have 15 minutes. I can stick around, which I'm going to, because we actually have another session at 6. I can stick around, and if we want to cut this one short and be good, I can stick around if you guys have individual questions. Majority of you, make sure that you sign kind of the paper out there with your contact info, students, because we really want to sort of get you in the books in terms of, so we can track you, make sure that you're good to go, so that I know, so that you're receiving my emails when it comes to graduation time. Cool? Any questions? All right, we feel good? I think we're signing off from the people in the booth. Yeah, maybe? I think we're good, bud. Good?